A man was shot and killed early Thursday morning in New Kingston. The incident happened around 3:30 a.m. at the intersection of Grenada Crescent and Trinidad Terrace. The identity of the deceased has not yet been confirmed. Details surrounding the shooting remain unclear. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says while the criminal justice system is a critical pillar for development in Jamaica, safety is the administration's foremost priority. He was speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing.
Safety in all phases of society, of course, it changes today as we get into the digital age, but the question of personal security still remains critical, whether in the social media or in the difficult communities. And what we have been discussing as a country over the years, the challenges many face in our, as we use the term, challenged communities, where you have gang activities literally taking charge of communities. Usually these communities are also characterized by other dysfunctional activity. You have not necessarily, poverty is not the cause of crime, and I'm not one to advocate that. We have had many tough communities where you have, good order and some brilliant people coming out of it, but in fact, they tend to be associated.
In the meantime, the National Security Minister says there are social activities that drive the economy. He pointed to the role churches play in engaging persons.
The Wednesday evening prayer meeting is a staple for older, in particular ladies, who are, in the churches. They want to go out, and it's a part of their social life, not just their activity in a faith-based organization, a church. When the gun starts firing, they're afraid to leave their home because they get caught in gunfire in the streets. It may not be they want to be encouraged, but on a Friday evening across Jamaica, on a Saturday evening, men get together at a street-side bar. They drink and talk, and they solve all the Jamaicans' problems by midnight and go home after some JB. But it's part of what protects the social fabric of Jamaica. Everybody comes together, play a game of domino, talk and discuss. That's the kind of activity that we have to ensure continues.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
General Manager of the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, Courtney Winters, says plans to divest the institution has been delayed. Mr. Winter explains that the Development Bank of Jamaica was unable to secure a single investor to take up a 40% stake in the bank as originally proposed. He says that approach has now been revised with plans to offer a larger portion of shares to a wider pool of smaller investors. A new proposal is expected to be submitted to Cabinet within the next month. Further afield, oil and gas prices are up as a long-term ceasefire with Iran remains elusive. WTI crude is hovering in the mid-90s. Brent crude is above $100 a barrel. Those numbers reflect overall increases from Wednesday, though prices fluctuate. AAA reports the average cost for a gallon of regular gas is up about a penny. It's $4.03. President Donald Trump says he is continuing a temporary ceasefire and waiting on Tehran for a peace plan. Iran says it does not want to release its hold on the Strait of Hormuz until the U.S. ends its blockade there. And that's it for the Business Minute. I am Carrie Ann Simpson.
Thank you, Carrie Ann. It's now time for the top stories from around the world.
In the region, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, is set to begin oral hearings on May 4th in the decades-old border dispute between Guyana and Venezuela. Attorney General Anil Nandlal says proceedings will run through May 8 with the possibility of extending into the following week. The case centers on the Essequibo region, which makes up more than two-thirds of Guyana's territory. Guyana is seeking confirmation that the 1899 arbitral award establishing the boundary is legally valid while Venezuela continues to challenge the court's authority. A final ruling is expected to be binding on both countries. And on the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump says the U.S. will attack any Iranian boats placing mines in the Strait of Hormuz. On social media, he says the American Navy won't hesitate to, quote, shoot and kill. It's a repeat of a threat he issued last month. President Trump also says U.S. minesweepers are working to clear the waterway. The new comments come after he said he'd extend a ceasefire with Iran. He says he's awaiting a long-term proposal from Tehran. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aliyah Bryant.
Thank you, Alia. We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports reports.
For several years, farmers from the Muirhouse community have been grappling with the effects of having the nearby Discovery Bauxite facility in the area. It continues to strip away fertile topsoil, making farmlands harder to cultivate, with dust settling on crops. But the most pressing concern remains the disruption of natural water flows and contamination of irrigation sources. It is why Discovery Bauxite, in partnership with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA, is set to construct a water harvesting and storage pond in the community aimed at boosting agricultural production. Farmers welcomed the initiative, noting it will be a game changer for their operations.
We have a mining land, so the line kind of drain out. So as the rainfall come, it drain out fast.
Moving up to the summer, the first quarter don't bad, but the second quarter in the year, so you have a lot of dry. So when every time we have this now, it will boost production for us.
Communities of Woodland, Box and Button, Jacob, Sheepen, Middle Boxon, and Kensington are also set to benefit from the storage pond. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, Public Relations Superintendent for Noranda Aluminum, Kent Skyers, says he's pleased that the project was able to begin within the planned 2-year timeline.
When we decided to start a project for this location some time ago, some person did not even believe that it would have been starting now because the land was being prepared for planting. But you remember Parliament has been riding hard to get it done. She has been riding hard to get it done, and we're here now.
State Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Franklin Witter, alongside Member of Parliament for Northwest St. Anne, Crystal Lee, says the project represents a step in the right direction toward improving food security amid rising global tensions affecting food systems worldwide.
I want to say there are so many things that can be done in these farming communities if we only keep our farmers group active and working together. You hear unity strength? You can achieve much more as farmers if you stick to your group and work together. And that is what it is about. And today is a living testimony of that.
It is a very, very serious time now right across the world. You see what is happening in respect of the wars. You see what happened previously a couple of years ago with COVID. So things and times are changing. Now we have the whole issue of climate change, and we have to deal with the adaptation.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.